So the state of Andhra Pradesh has identified three significant milestones in its long-term vision. How are the policies of various departments aligned towards the singular vision?
When you have a vision, obviously the state's vision is an integrated vision of all departments and all sectors. So each and every department also has its own vision, its own goal. Once that is fixed, every department works out a strategy or strategies to achieve that goal. Once you work out a particular strategy, to implement that strategy, what are all the interventions you need to deploy is something easy to work out. Those interventions are normally designed in the form of a scheme, and those schemes we develop, we design and get them approved in the cabinet, and then those schemes are implemented with specific outcomes, time based. So since now we have a vision with a time bound vision, based on that each and every department worked out their own goals, and according to the goals we are working out strategies, and based on the strategies we design schemes and interventions, and those interventions we implement in the field so as to achieve our goal or reach our the outcome. So that is how it is done, and that is how we have done it.
Sir, developing states rarely manage to successfully integrate the sustainable development concern into their economic growth strategies. However, the state of Andhra Pradesh vision eases the dichotomy by striking the right balances between the two concerns. Has the state been successful in reflecting these achievements on the ground?
Yeah, every state and every country has this problem. One is balancing the welfare, balancing the development. Both are equally important. You can't sacrifice one for the sake of the other, because unless welfare schemes are implemented, people will not be happy. And development is again a broad term. It's not only simple infrastructure, but obviously it also includes a social development. That's why we call, even in the budget, health, education, etc. are economic departments, because they develop the social capital, they train the people, they improve their health, they make them fit for contributing not only to their personal growth, but to the growth of the economy and to the growth of the state as well. So integrating development and welfare has been a practice since independence. It is not something new. However, when we talk about the integration of sustainable development goals, and as well as the regular development in terms of infrastructure, economy, etc., it's not difficult, because sustainable development goals, a good number of them are basically somewhat HDI based, that is Human Development Index based. That is, the ultimate goal is, the comprehensive goal is happiness, but ultimately To be happy, you need your per capita income growth, that is, you need to have your regular income. To have a regular income, you need employment. To have employment, you need skills, you need education, you have to be healthy. So, the Human Development Index are those goals which we talk in terms of welfare or economic development, also are related to, are also are aligned directly, indirectly to the growth of the economy. So that dichotomy is only basically in our minds, but physically both are linked closely. So that's the reason why the state takes care of adequately the welfare part of it and the economic development part of it by focusing substantially on those welfare schemes which are essential for health improvement, for self-dignity, and also for nutritional security, etc. At every stage. It could be at a children level, or it could be a college going student level, or it could be a old age level. That's why we implement schemes to take care of the children through Anganwadis, a preschool level. Then at the school level, we provide free education. We adequately take care of them through hostels, through residential schools. Then try to provide quality education by investment in it, by also supporting through fees reimbursement, scholarships at every stage, and then provide employment through NREGS, and also skill improvements, etc. And finally, when you reach a old age, we implement social welfare, pensions, and so on. While doing that, parallelly, we build infrastructure in terms of good hospitals, in terms of promoting good universities for education and all, in terms of other infrastructure like ports, seaports, airports, good transportation systems including roads, railway network. So all that infrastructure we do take care, we do invest, and without losing sight of the welfare. Besides, the other infrastructure like paying attention to irrigation sector by completing the pending irrigation structures, ensuring electricity to all 24/7 by investing in electricity infrastructure. So that way, I don't see a great dichotomy, but basically we take care of the personal development, the social development, the health development, the education development, and then the overall infrastructural development. That way, it's not difficult to strike a balance between all. Yeah, next.
So, will the finances of the state sustain this ambitious vision? Is the state experiencing the demand-supply gaps? If yes, what are the steps being taken by the government to prioritize the channelizing of the finances?
Finances are always a problem to each and every state, because the demands are always higher than the supply. This gap exists everywhere. The only possible way of ensuring a smooth allocation is a balanced view of things and balanced allocations. As I mentioned earlier, we pay attention to the welfare, we pay attention to the infrastructure and all. That is both revenue expenditure as well as capital allocation are taken care. But to ensure a proper allocation and development, that is taking care of the revenue while allocating adequately for the capital, sometimes we employ various mechanisms which would take care of the gaps, if any, other than through budget route. What I mean to say is, we employ a lot of off-budget techniques, off-budget mechanisms to ensure supply of resources or provision of resources to those agencies which require finances but which are not able to get adequately from the budget. We have certain resource mobilization strategies. We do mobilize certain resources in the state. We also get certain devolutions from the center. These are the two main resource channels that we have. The third is the borrowings, and there is a limit on borrowings because of the FRBM statute. So put these three channels put together ensure certain kind of availability of certain kind of resources. Whereas on the demand side, everybody wants a large chunk of resources, as I mentioned, which we will not be able to provide through the available resources from the channels that I mentioned above. Then what do? We have to ensure, or we have to provide resources not only from the budget but through the off-budget mechanisms. Like, suppose we want to construct 10 lakh houses. We will not have adequate resources to provide for 10 lakh houses in case if we have to meet many other demands. Then what do is, we allow the corporation, say a housing corporation is there, we allow them to borrow by giving adequate guarantee. That is, state guarantee is given, sovereign guarantee is given. We allow the corporation to mobilize resources and take up a large program of building houses. And the repayments over the years, instead of providing at one go, over the years, we go on repaying in a convenient method. Like that, we also sometimes allow investments through annuity mode. So, since we don't have adequate resources to put in a particular project, somebody comes forward and invests, then we pay them on annuity mode so that the burden on 1 year will be less and the allocation can be distributed over the years. The third, we encourage private people to come and invest in infrastructure, in industry, etc. through incentivization. That is, the private man, instead of the government, invests in a particular project. We give certain kind of incentives that ensure the viability of that project. So these are the mechanisms that we deploy to ensure that our commitments are honored and the resource gap is tactfully and conveniently met, overcoming the immediate difficulties or the immediate hurdles. I think that would suffice.